Hey everybody. A couple days ago, the first part of TDX's very first Easter event just dropped. And while I am a little bit late to it, I'm going to review it today. Yay! Anyways, like and subscribe, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the gameplay, and it's alright. Essentially, it has the wave structure of maps like Halloween Chapter 3 and 4, except it's actually on a linear path system. So it makes the waves a lot longer, while having a lot less. And while I think this structure works for open lane maps like Christmas and Halloween, this one just, just doesn't really work that well. I think after a while, having the same enemies appear on the same direction every time, it kind of just gets repetitive. It still isn't really incredibly time consuming though, so it's not too bad. Now, let's talk about the enemies that spawn. There are only like 8 enemies in part 1. I don't really know if I have that exactly right, but even if I'm wrong, it still feels like there are only 8. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have a small amount of enemies, after all, it is part 1 of an event, but having the same enemies appear along an extremely long wave structure in the first place is honestly really only helping with making it more repetitive. Along with this, I think the map design is also a little odd. I'm pretty sure I saw this in a different video, but there's a theory that this map was created during the first time an Easter event was attempted, but since it was scrapped, it was just used for this one, and honestly, that has a lot of credibility. The map is very bright and kind of just whimsical, colorful stuff, and it overall just feels very, it clashes with Engineer's theme a lot, especially because he's the main antagonist of this event. I've heard theories about simulations, but I don't really think that's it. I don't know how Engineer would even be capable of that. So I'm not really a huge fan of the map. I do like the design of the islands though. I like that both islands are split from each other with the castle connecting them in the middle. And the bunny defenses on the castle are pretty helpful as well. I know it's not possible to do this anymore, but something that I thought would have been cool for the Easter map is maybe to have one side with this really nice, pretty Easter, have one side of the map with the Easter vibes, and have another side of the map with Engineer's corruption in technology. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop. Also, in the wave structure, there's certain ways where you just don't get money. I don't really know why they made this choice, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. You get a lot of money anyway. So I think we've hit all the bases besides the boss fight. Honestly, the boss fight is a little I don't know. It's not my favorite boss fight. You can tell that they put a lot of work into the Bunnyotron animations, especially its spawning animation, but I feel like a lot about the boss is very underutilized. For starters, in easy and normal mode, Bunnyotron literally ignores the other side of the map because he only spawns on one side. It kind of came as a shock to me to not see any interaction with the other side of the map for Bunnyotron because it's literally a giant rabbit, and along with this, it makes you not really have any usage in your defenses for the boss fight on the other side of the map. It makes me think that maybe Bunnyotron wasn't made for a 2-lane map, because only form of mobility outside of the track is jumping on towers. And let me talk about this real quick, because I don't know what they did for this attack, but it is easily one of the most repetitive and redundant attacks I've ever seen. It's pretty much every 5 seconds that you see Bunnytron jumping on a different tower and killing it immediately, where the only real way to bypass this is by using towers that have rebuilds. The alternative is also Combat Medic, which I'm not a fan of because it really makes the meta for this either a tower that already costs a lot, or a tower that costs 13,000 crystals in 13 hours of grinding. And for the latter, you already need to have grinding done as a prerequisite because Nightmare Mode is so difficult. And to be honest, I think I diverged a little bit. It's not even my issue with how much damage the attack does or how much it kills towers. My main issue is how often he does it. I get that Bunnyotron is a bunny and it jumps, but this is just a lot. I'm not entirely sure of this, but I think it also targets the most expensive or most recently upgraded tower, which means that using bait towers that don't have the built-in mechanic, like Scarecrow or Chicken House, is pretty much fully ineffective because Bunnyotron just ignores it. The only time when a bait tower would work is when Bunnyotron is outside of jumping range for an expensive tower, and even then, that's to the point where it just doesn't even matter, because it doesn't have a tower to jump on, so what's the... I don't even know. Alright, I got a little off topic there, but I think the last thing that I really want to hit is the game modes. The only difficult one is Nightmare Mode, and even then, it can be pretty easily done if you just get a bunch of splash damage towers and DPS towers. But arguably one of the most annoying things they did to me is having 2 Bunnytrons appear instead of just making Bunnyotron have more health and utilize the other part of the map. I mean, heck, we could even, maybe in Nightmare Mode we could have seen some of Engineer's creations like the Nail Golems or something. But I think I've talked all I want to talk about the gameplay. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's talk about the content in the game. The entire, system for getting towers and skins is the exact same as the Christmas event. However, the Battle Pass is twice as redundant because there's no actual good tower to receive at the end of the Battle Pass. I've always assumed that the structure of a Battle Pass, especially in a tower defense game, is that at the end, you get an actually good reward. I'm not really sure if it's the same for other games. I'm sure other ones reward skins instead of towers, but it's been a core mechanic for TDX. For TDX, the gimmick has always been that you get the good event tower at the end of the Battle Pass as a reward for your grinding. And this is just not here. You get Bunny XWM turret and then 3 nuclear missiles. And then the event tower gets put in the event shop. I feel like there should have been a system where you can do quests to get eggs and then just add an Easter crate. Or remove the event shop entirely and put it into the Battle Pass. I think TDX is getting carried away with the event shop system because it's literally been that for the past 3 relevant updates. I mean, we did not need that event shop for the Lunar New Year. Okay, anyways, continuing on. The event tower is invincible. That's really all I have to say. Either it's a joke or it just hasn't been balanced yet, but it does 9,999 damage or something. And I mean, really, this is the best thing we could think of? I feel like it doesn't really even relate to Easter. I mean, it's a guy that blows bubbles. How is this relevant to collecting eggs and fighting Engineer? But then again, you could argue that every event tower isn't really relevant because it's not meant to be based on the holiday. I mean, obviously, you can't add the Easter Bunny to the game, so I guess you have to give them credit where credit is due for coming up with a unique enough tower to make it an event tower for Easter. My best guess for Bubble Blower is that it's going to do a thing where he can put enemies in a bubble, send them back to the start, pop it, and then deal damage to them. Because, I mean, realistically, what can you do with the Bubble Blower? I mean, they could go the Flame Trooper route and make it so that he, blows bubbles, as AoE attack. I don't even know. And then Chicken House. I don't even want to talk about Chicken House. It's very clearly a joke tower, and I'm going to treat it as one. I was talking to Zom about this, and it is true that I think the joke tower being a bait tower that just does nothing and gives you very little amounts of money is getting a little repetitive. And it really stopped being an actually funny joke after Troll Tower came out. I'm also pretty sure that the tower is Golden Juggernaut or War Machine Factory size, so I mean, why even place it down? If I could describe it, it's literally just Oil Derrick but a bait tower and gives you no money. Or at least that's what it feels like, because the max upgrade gives you basically pocket change. Alright, I realize now that I said I didn't even want to talk about Chicken Tower, but here I am talking about it, so I'm gonna stop. Anyways, I guess wrapping this up, we're gonna talk about the lore. This is such a weird choice to bring Engineer back for Easter of all of the events. I mean, what progression of thought brought them to the idea that they should bring Engineer back for this holiday? I'm at least glad they were able to explain why Engineer would make kawaii bunny robots, because apparently Dr. Mallory really likes rabbits. And now all of the Awakened have been transformed into these weird people with bunny masks and I don't even know. The theme of the holiday of Easter and the theme of Engineer's corruption and technology for a cult is so antithetical that it just doesn't really work. And assuming they're going the route that I think they are, the switch up between the happy whimsical vibe of Easter and the hellish purple corruption of the Engineer for part 2 is going to be just a whiplash. I'm pretty sure they're also doing a thing where the heretic or the heretic's brain is inside of another bunny robot. I don't know why they did this. I mean, if it actually is true, which it seems like it is because all of the comments under his theme song are talking about it, I honestly would just be kind of disappointed because, I mean, just let the heretic die, man. He was literally the plague doctor of the Halloween event. And I know that he had, he was, part of the main reason for the cult being founded, but, I mean, come on. And I just don't really want to see another slot for a cool boss to be wasted on the heretic, but he's a robot rabbit now? Well, God, I don't even know. So I guess to wrap it up, because I somehow made this video 9 minutes long, this event was just kind of I don't know. It's a good part 1, but actually analyzing it a little bit more, I see some flaws that I didn't really notice that actually kind of made me a little frustrated. So I'm just going to end the video here. If I got anything wrong, which, I mean, I probably got at least one thing wrong, just let me know and tell me what you think of this event in the comment section. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.